Hi, it's Brian Shannon from alphatrends.net. I want to take you through some stock trading ideas for Friday. But before I did actually take a look at some ideas, I wanted to point out where we are in this market. We've obviously had just a fantastic rally here, and it seems a little bit crazy to be buying new positions after a move of this magnitude that we've seen over the last 2 weeks, and in fact, the last 5 weeks. If you take out this little correction here, we've extended, that is the measured move, we've almost gone 100% of this first leg higher, and a lot of times that's where you encounter a little bit of resistance. There's nothing here on the chart though that suggests that there's any resistance anywhere. We've broken to the new highs of 115.13 and are holding there at least one day, that is today, on Thursday. And you look at a 90-minute time frame, we're just in a real nice uptrend. Amazingly, I just saw someone recently just saying this is going to be a double top on the S&P 500. Crazy to listen to things like that. The momentum is clearly higher here. That's what you need to focus on, and managing risk. So when you're looking at an extended market like this, you can see though that it is extended, but it's doing so in a healthy fashion. That is, that it makes these bursts higher, and then it kind of chops around, goes sideways, and then makes another push. Now we'll want to see some support levels hold. 114.40, then down near about 113.80. If those levels can hold, on any pullbacks that develop here, then you want to be still participating to the long side, and be aware that obviously risks of a deeper pullback increase the higher we go. But if you can focus on risk management and being in the right stocks, then it's still okay to be in the market. But again, risk management always job number one. Let's take a look at some individual names. ARUN, I've been talking about this one for a couple weeks back in here, but they just had earnings a couple days ago, big volume, and the stock moved higher. Now it looks like it's still zeroing in on this 14.5-ish area. You can see that it's consolidated after that earnings related move from, I guess that was Tuesday, and we had a little bit of shakeout today, so maybe getting back above about 113.45, that this stock could make a run for that 14.5 area or so. Use the definition of an uptrend to define your risk. I would say that if you're entering based off of the 10-minute time frame, you want to manage your risk there and say if it makes a higher high here at 13.45, we would then want to set our stop near about 13.20, so just giving ourselves about 25 cents of risk or so. A couple of little biotech stocks that look interesting to me. One is CYTX. The stock trades just about 500,000 shares a day. I know nothing about the science of this company or the next one we're going to talk about. All I'm looking at here is a chart. So be extra cautious with biotech stocks, especially these little ones, because they are obviously very related to news, and they can gap down on you and really do a lot of damage to your portfolio if you have large positions. So small share position, and you want to wait for momentum to develop to get into these names. Otherwise, you'll just be sitting there and you run the event risk. That is based on news-related event risk. If something comes out and it's just kind of sitting there, it might catch you off guard to the downside. But the stock is still holding this rising 5-day moving average here we see on the 10-minute time frame, and probably needs to clear about 765 or so. What I'm thinking for tomorrow is I'd likely set an alert at about $7.60. So if it gets up to that level, then I'll be alerted by my software, and then I would maybe look for a little bit of a pullback and then a rally in there. But I'd want to see some momentum before getting involved in the name, and I'd want to kind of be watching that level 2 to see the speed of the tape, and just start using some looking at the momentum to see if it's developing and if it could sustain a move higher. Because if it can get above those little highs and then go on to clear this level here at about $7.80, and we could take a look. Actually, this is 775, 776 on March 8th, and 770. So 776, it looks like, has been the recent barrier for this thing to really run. But when it gets going, it can go really nicely, and you could see, these are the types of stocks that you could see a quick 50 cents to $1. So same thing would go for Jazz. JAZZ is the symbol. This is Jazz Pharmaceuticals. They trade 490,000 shares a day. It's another biotech stock, so you have to remember those risks are there. But beautiful, little cup and handle here on the daily time frame. We've broken that resistance, and here that resistance is holding a support. We back it up to a weekly time frame, and it looks like it's still got some room to run. I think probably up towards close to $14 a share. So there's really not a lot of potential for resistance, it doesn't look like, and it's currently battling this level. So getting up through there, I think that it could kind of fill in this hole basically right here up towards 14. So how I would want to get involved with this is, again, on all these biotechs, check to see if there's some kind of news pending, or do a little bit of research on these while they're in this quiet period. Set your alerts maybe in this stock for about 1176, and then maybe buying above this level here at about 1185. But do some research to find out what they're doing while the stock is just kind of sitting there quietly, and anticipate where the trades where the momentum might come in. And once you're involved, obviously manage risk. I would say if it breaks back below this level at about 1135 or so, that's where you would want to say the stock failed to materialize the momentum that might have developed, or that hopefully will develop. But if it fails to do that, then there would be no reason to hold it, especially again because it is one of these riskier biotech stocks. Now another stock that looks decent here is Quicksilver Resources, and you can see that all these stocks that I'm focusing on haven't had the big moves lately. I could bring you Apple, but Apple's already moved. Everybody knows that story. So what we're looking at is, where can we still participate in some upside and manage risk for new positions? This stock recently broke resistance at $15 a share on some nice volume increase in here. Pulled back. It's above the rising 10, 20, and 50-day moving average, and the volume was light in here. Now you back it up to a weekly time frame, you can see there's a bigger level here that at about 17 bucks a share. Now a trade up to 17 would be nice to see, but getting up through that level, then I think you've got a $20 stock. So if this is the type of stock you like, it trades 2 million shares a day, then do some research, find out a little bit more about it. But here you can see it's been trapped under this 5-day moving average and this prior little level of support. So it looks like it's going to need to clear about 45 cents. So let's just take a look in here, maybe about 45 cents, 48 cents to 50 cents. So above probably $15.50 is where the momentum develops back into Quicksilver. And then you would want to set your stop somewhere up under one of these higher lows. OEH, this is a name I'm in. This is Oriental Express Hotels. It's broken some resistance on volume today. The weekly time frame looks like it's still got some good room to run here. So as I said, I'm in it, but I might even consider adding to it above this level tomorrow with a stop down near about $12.15. RF, I had mentioned on Twitter today. I'm involved in some of this. I bought it late day. A lot of the regional banks look good, and I thought this one was going to have a better afternoon than it did, but I'm only looking for about probably 8.5 on this one, but still the 10-minute time frame here that is constructed of these 10-minute candles over the last 15 days, you can see that we've got a pretty easily identified support level here over the last couple days, that if it breaks below that 720 level, I'd get out. Realistically, I probably should have waited to get into the stock until it cleared this little resistance that's clearly developed here over the last 2 days at 745. So I have a small position. I probably would add to it if given a strong market tomorrow. I would add to Regions Financial above that level. Worst case stop down near about $7.20. A larger name is this WellPoint Health, and unfortunately it moved nicely here at the end of the day. You can see it took out some resistance of about the last 2 weeks and did so in a nice increase in volume. Now when the stock gets extended like this, we don't want to be chasing it. Instead, what we want to do is we want to anticipate a place of where it might pull back to. So I just had to put that on pause for a moment. So what we might want to do is look for a pullback to the pivot level for tomorrow. So this is a free resource on alphascanner.com under the resources page. It's the pivot point calculator. And what we do is we type in today's high. I'm not going to put any decimals in, but today's high was $63.73. The low was 62.07 and it closed at 63.55. So the pivot tomorrow will be at $63.11. So what we would want to do is see maybe the stock can pull back down towards that 63.11 area. Wouldn't necessarily have to touch 63.11 exactly, but if a pullback down towards that level at least, and then we don't want to buy it on weakness. So we'd want to see, here's where we are kind of, this is the afternoon close. This would be tomorrow morning. Let's say it gets down to the pivot area right in here. It might even continue lower, but what we'd want to do is buy it on strength as it rallies back above the daily VWAP right in here tomorrow morning, and then set our stop underneath whatever that higher low would be. So let's take a look at the bigger term picture first before we to kind of make the bullish case here. You can see that WellPoint has been in a nice tight consolidation over the last 10 sessions or so, and it's above the 10, 20, and 50-day moving average, the weekly time frame. It's got a real nice pullback here on the weekly time frame. That resistance acted as support after this pullback. So the stock is really consolidated. It pulled back, it corrected price-wise, now it's correcting time-wise, and it looks like the buyers are back involved. If we can get a slight pullback and then buy some momentum, then I think this stock definitely has the potential to continue, you know, up at least towards 66, 68, or $67 a share. But anyways, what you would want to do obviously is just continue to raise your stops underneath the successive higher lows and give this one, you know, get some momentum before you get involved in all of these names, because again, the market is extended here, but the path of least resistance is higher. You don't want to fight it, and you know, like they say, the trend is your friend.